पारस खड़का ने जिस अंदाज से एनपीएल का ब्लूप्रिंट बताया, उसका जो ग्लोबल एम्प्लीफिकेशन हुआ वो दिन मैसिव. I keep saying this, he's a man with vision and supervision. Faf du Plessis says, my interest in Nepal grew when I saw the crowds coming in. These numbers made me want to play in front of such crowds, because we as cricketers want to play in front of crowds. We don't want to play in empty stadiums.
If you could interview any cricketer, past or present, who would it be?
I would love to do Virat Kohli. लेकिन वो एक वीडियो बहुत वायरल हो गया, मेरा एक स्टोरी एनएसजी कमांडोज के ऊपर, अगर आपने देखा होगा.
Mission accomplished, the terrorists gunned down, and these brave NSG commandos are now on their way back to Delhi.
I ended up speaking to a terrorist on the phone. मेरा तो आउट हो गया, मतलब मेरा सिस्टम ही बंद हो गया.
How was the experience of Nepal Premier League been so far?
They say it's the festival of the Himalayas, but I feel that it is the greatest thing that has happened to Nepal in recent years. NPL has given Nepal that moment and a very strong and a bright future. तो मेरे को लगा यार ये 18 साल का लड़का है, बहुत कुछ सुना है इसके बारे में. विराट बाहर आ रहा था ड्रेसिंग रूम में, तो मैं अपने कैमरा पर्सन के साथ खड़ा था, तो मैंने कहा विराट आई नीड टू टॉक टू यू. विराट ने कहा व्हाट? तो मैंने कहा आई वांट टू इंटरव्यू यू फॉर 2 minutes. कैन आई हैव अ चैट विद यू? तो विराट ऐसे देखता है, नो. मैंने बोला अरे बाप रे.
Who's your commentary idol?
I don't have a commentary idol.
Talk about Dipendra Singh idea. What kind of aura do you think he brings to the game? Cheers करते हैं ना Kathmandu coffee. We're a big fan of coffee.
Yeah, I love coffee. Yeah.
And I really wanted to get a coffee sponsored for the podcast because coffee and conversation, it goes very well.
Yeah, like in Hindi they say chai pe charcha. Here it is coffee with conversation with coffee. Yeah.
But in Nepal, you'll be very surprised to know this. Did you see those tea shops like Chia Ghar type? Did you see it around?
I think I may have, yes.
So for the past 5-7 years, it's like a restaurant, but more of a cafe for tea. Chia Lai,
Okay.
Chia Adda.
Okay.
So a lot of young entrepreneurs have come up to start those kind of businesses.
Yeah. I really, like something in the food and beverage industry. It just appeals to me. And I, at some point, want to have my own restaurant or a small little eatery where I can, feed people at a decent amount, but give, it's fun.
Let me start with asking you, this is the second time you've been here in Nepal, if I'm not wrong.
No, I'll correct you over there.
Third.
No, maybe 4th or 5th.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, my relationship with Nepal has grown over a period of time, Avash, and it's been very organic. So I remember first coming for another league long back, and that's when I was first, introduced to the Nepal cricket culture, and I saw that, wow, they really love their cricket. But then over a period of time, I did a lot of ICC and ACC pathway events for Nepal in Oman, Qatar, in UAE. So I would keep meeting the teams every now and then. And then one of the qualifiers happened in Nepal again. So again, I came back to Nepal. So it just kept happening. So it was a wonderful relationship that just grew with time. I feel privileged and honored.
What was your first impression when you landed in Nepal?
I still remember that distinct memory of mine when I came to the airport and I was walking through the nice passage you'll have, right? I mean, I just found that very interesting.
The brick one.
No, the one that has a, it's a
curve.
Yeah, the curve. Yeah, I really enjoyed that curve. And I went out, and then again, the weather was something that just, again, caught my attention. And the friendliness of the people. I remember we had come for a league, so we commentators had come together. So we were waiting for each other. And I just felt there was a lot of innocence and genuinity and authenticity in the air. So that really stood out for me. And I really, took to Nepal like a fish takes to water.
I remember when I traveled to Delhi, it was mid-June.
Right.
So when we took off from Kathmandu, the weather was, I think, 22 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
But when we reached Delhi, they said 38 or something. I was not minding more of that. But when I came out of the airplane, it was like somebody turned on the heater.
Yeah.
So Nepal, especially Kathmandu, it gets hot,
Okay.
but not that much hotter that the wind is itself so hot. But if you go to around Tarai, Lumbini or Janakpur, it's very hot out there.
Yeah, so luckily each time I've come maybe in the best part of the time where the weather has been wonderful. So for me, it's like each time I come here in this time of the year, I want to come back again. It's like that.
Monsoon is also beautiful because you see all the greenery.
Greenery.
The green is very green, no? And especially Kathmandu, since it's surrounded by all the hills, so it looks very beautiful. And that's the best time to take photos.
No, I keep saying this on commentary as well. Nepal is a treasure trove and it has everything. You want heritage, you want culture, you want adventure, you want sport, you want hospitality. It's everything. So I mean, just to put it in a one sentence, it's a wonderful and a beautiful place to be in.
Let's now. I always try to talk in a timeline, right? So our audience don't get confused. So I want to take you back to your childhood, the days when you were playing cricket for Mangalore.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong.
DKCA, Dakshin Kannada Cricket Association. That's the South Canara.
Yeah.
So KSC is Bangalore. That's the governing body. And under the umbrella of that is the other districts that come through. And I came from Bangalore, correct.
So how it do? You were a wicket-keeper batsman.
I'm still figuring out. So see, for me, again, like everyone, I guess those watching as well, cricket एक जुनून था, एक जज्बा था, एक टशन था. क्या बनना है? क्रिकेटर बनना है. ऐसा होता था. I also was like that. My parents were extremely supportive. My mother particularly, she always said, go all out, don't worry. I began as a bit of a bowler, then realized maybe I'm a bit of a batter. And by the end of it, I felt maybe I'm better off behind the mic. So it's all through years, through natural progression and continual innovation of myself that I realized that I've tried my best, I need to move on. But I began as a bit of a medium pace bowler. Then I had a good time as a batter. But I would always say I was not one of the, good batters or bowlers. But thankfully, I understood the game really well. So I captained my college, my zone. I captained at various levels. So that's how, things kept going. I played for my under 13 Mangalore zone, under 16, under 19 Mangalore zone. Then I played for under 23. I captained my college. I went on to play for the university. I toured South Africa, Australia with clubs to hone my skills and play more matches. I played a lot of cricket in Sri Lanka. Yeah, and I played a bit of cricket in UAE as well. So there was real intent in, I was serious about what I was doing.
Did the 1983 World Cup make an impact on you? Because you were very little at that time, if I'm not wrong.
No, my distinct memory about cricket was actually the 1992 World Cup.
Gosh.
I mean, that time, I guess the cable TV had come through and one of our neighbors happened to have that. And I still remember watching India-England match. I guess England went on to win that match in which you had Graham Gooch and the late Robin Smith, who's now unfortunately no more. So it was that team with Ian Botham and also, I mean, I realized I was totally floored, by watching the colored jerseys in 1992 on TV. So that was a trigger moment for me.
That was a very interesting time to be, I think, especially the 90s, because the way cricketers, especially Indian cricketers, are taken in these days. At that time, it was Sachin Tendulkar just making his mark in the late 80s and especially the 90s where he was coming up. How was the cricketing culture there and how did you grasp that cricketing culture?
I guess a lot had to do with Sachin Tendulkar because I wrote an article many years back and I shared that with Sachin Tendulkar as well. And it was my interaction with him as a kid when I was playing cricket. I'll get to that. But like you rightly pointed out, 1990, the nation was high on 3 letters, SRT. Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. And we were all part of that bandwagon. I remember Sachin had come to play a charity match in Mangalore. And it was like a festival. We've had Festival of the Himalayas. Sachin coming for that one match in a small place called Mangalore where no cricket has happened at that level. I was sitting in the crowd. I think I had let go of my exam as well somehow. Sitting in the crowd, he gets to 100. Entire ground went into a tizzy. I ran onto the field to shake hands with him. उधर तो वो टाइम पे सिक्योरिटी कुछ नहीं है. तो when I was at this distance between you and me, तो मैंने हाथ आगे किया. वो सचिन ने भी हाथ आगे किया, लेकिन जैसे हम लोग आगे बढ़ने लगे मेरे को पीछे से किसी ने पकड़ के लाठीचार्ज कर दिया। वो कांस्टेबल था, वो जो सिक्योरिटी। तो मैंने बोला यार इतने नजदीक आके मेरा हाथ छूट गया, बट खुशी ये थी कि मैंने आपको इतनी नजदीक से देख लिया। You got to find the bright side in the dull side. That's how I've looked at life. I've always seen the positive in the negative. And that started from there. So then मैं 15-20 साल बाद सचिन से मिला, this time as an accomplished journalist. और मैंने सचिन को ये कहानी बताई। सचिन भाई आप आए थे बैंगलोर? हाँ मैं याद है, ही रिमेम्बर्ड। तो सचिन भाई मैं एक छोटा लड़का था, वो टाइम पे मेरे को शेक हैंड करने का मौका नहीं मिला, 15 साल बाद आज मौका मिल रहा है मुझे शेक हैंड करने के लिए। तो आदमी इतना बड़ा है सचिन, बोलता है इट्स माय प्लेजर निखिल दैट आई गेट टू शेक हैंड्स विद यू। तो आई सेड विद अ लंप इन माय थ्रोट, आई सेड सचिन भाई इट्स माय ऑनर that you shook hands with me today and you remember that episode and you've given me that time. So for me it was a fanboy moment. I mean Sachin we all grown up to and with, yeah, so it's like that.
Wonderful. I told you, right? We relate a lot because Sachin Tendulkar was here, I think, back in 2018 for a program for UNICEF.
Yes, I'm aware, yes.
So it was, I think it was a Saturday. I was at my home checking one of my friends. He posted a photo with Sachin at the Q ground. So I was having a coffee. I told my mom, I'm not having lunch. I'm going to Kirtipur. So I didn't even have a pass. But I think it's all what God brings in front of your path. So one of my journalist friends, he was going out. So he handed over his pass to me. I ran in. And you remember how our grandparents used to watch Mahabharat sitting in front of the TV and joining their hands. After the game, I knew Sachin was going for the post-match. Now currently it's the media section there at you. So I went there and I was literally stargazing Sachin.
Yeah.
And at the end, I just told him that you're the reason I'm into sports journalism today. And my father is a big fan of Sachin Tendulkar.
I mean, the whole country, to be honest, I mean, I can relate to your dad and your emotions because Sachin out to TV बंद, ऐसा होता था माहौल इंडिया में।
वो तो सो जाते थे। I used to watch.
हाँ जी।
That's why I saw Harbhajan banging those sixes.
आप यकीन नहीं मानोगे, when Sachin used to bat to a McGrath or a Wasim Akram, heart used to skip a beat.
True.
You'll agree.
Yeah, completely.
वो टाइम में ऐसा होता था कि हर बॉल में थोड़ा मिस कर दिया,
especially
McGrath, क्योंकि he troubled him a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're a 90s kid, so we can relate to each other. For the ones who are watching now, the Gen Zs, now they'll not be able to relate to it, but that's what Sachin meant to us. Literally, he was our heartbeat. And what I'm trying to say.
So coming back, you were there playing cricket. You decided to do your BSc in computer science. Now this education of yours, I am going to relate it in a while. So why computer science at that time?
देखिए भाई, मेरी कहानी पता नहीं मैं कैसे बयां करूं आप लोगों को, but you may not be aware that I was in the merchant navy as well. Yeah, I was a deck cadet sailing.
Dad is a captain.
Yeah, he's a captain in the merchant navy. Now he's retired. Lives in Bombay. We all stay there. So I remember like I told you, I did try very hard in cricket. It didn't happen. So quite often I would get out early because I would go to play the big shots and all. So I would come back. और ये जो बैट पीछे पड़ा है ना, ऐसे ही मैं पकड़ के हैंडल को माइक बना देता था और मैं कमेंट्री शुरू कर देता अपने ही प्लेयर्स के लिए पेविलियन में, अपने प्लेयर्स के बारे में। तो मेरे 2-3 दोस्त बोले भाई तू यहाँ बेटर कर रहा है वहां से, तो इधर क्यों नहीं ट्राई करता? वो थोड़ा एक फीलिंग आया। मैंने बोला चलो भाई इधर भी देखो, मुझे पता था मेरे को क्रिकेट के आई हैड टू डू समथिंग अराउंड क्रिकेट। आई वाज वेरी क्लियर भाई, ना इंजीनियर ना डॉक्टर, कुछ नहीं। लोग पूछते थे डॉक्टर बनेगा, मैंने बोला नहीं, पेशेंट बन जाऊंगा लेकिन डॉक्टर नहीं बनूंगा। ऐसा माहौल था मेरे लिए। तो वहां से शुरू हुई ड्रीम जॉब। हर्षा की खोज में मैंने भाग लिया, आपको पता होगा या नहीं पता। वहां पे हर्षा भोगले ने कहा कि 2004 by that time I'd already enrolled for a mass comm, but before that you asked me why I did the BSc. Sorry, I'm just jumping topics. तो वहां से जब मेरे दोस्त बोलते थे कि तो फिर मर्चेंट नेवी गया। मर्चेंट नेवी में कुछ खास things didn't materialize for me. I come back and then one of my best friends was doing BSc. He's like, bro, I'm here, join me. मैंने बोला yeah bro, I'm at crossroads in life where I need to take some decisions. I think I'll do something in computers. And good thing is I'll get 3 years to play cricket as well. So he's like, done, bro. So he was in BSc, तो मैं भी BSc में चले गए उसके साथ. मेरा बेस्ट फ्रेंड है आज तक. तो हमारी दोस्ती अटूट रही है. BSc किया, फिर मेरा वो क्रिकेट भी I did played university, but then again फिर वो I realized that I need to give it a shot in broadcast because computer science again was for me just not happening. तो फिर ऐसे
So Harsha Ki Khoj was the first thing you attempted in media?
Yeah, rightly said. It was a long process, Avash. First you had to record a commentary bit on phone. Lakhs of entries all over India. Record it. Then after the beep, leave your commentary. We will come back to you. मैंने वो किया, मेरे को शॉर्टलिस्ट हो गया. शॉर्टलिस्ट में उन्होंने कहा रिकॉर्ड अ CD नाउ एंड सेंड इट. फिर CD रिकॉर्ड किया. अगेन लैक्स ऑफ एंट्रीज, लैक्स टू थाउजेंड्स, थाउजेंड्स टू हंड्रेड्स. वो भी मैं सिलेक्ट हो गया CD में. CD के बाद दे सेड यू आर शॉर्टलिस्टेड फॉर बैंगलोर चैप्टर. वसीम अकरम, हर्षा बोगले, पेरिजा जोराबेन द जजेस. We'll have a live audition.
Wow.
First time. आज भी वो क्लिप मेरे पास है, मेरे लैपटॉप पे. And I lost in that final round of Bangalore. Had I made it there, I would have gone to Bangladesh for live commentary. वो मिस हो गया मुझे. And there Harsha told me, he's like, Mikhil, I don't know how far you go in this competition, but I want you to know that you have great camera eye coordination for live. That was enough for me. You know, today I don't look for validation, but Harsha saying that for someone who had spent so much of time, I took it as a very serious, observation, and that was enough for me to understand that this was my calling. Because I didn't get selected for the final round. It didn't really matter to me. I was crestfallen. I was broken. My dad was waiting from 7 in the morning outside till 10 in the night. He was not allowed inside entry, and I could not come out. He could not come in. He had a bus to catch at 10:30 in the night. So by the time I come out, he had caught the bus and gone. And I had lost over there. So I was sad, not because I had lost. I was sad because he stood from 7 in the morning till 10 in the night. And then I could not meet him and say bye to him. So, at the end of the day, then I said, whatever said and done, I'll make sure I do something in this field. I'm a very self-motivated person. I don't look for motivation from anybody else.
Wow. Now, Harsha Bogle also mentored you for some time.
No. He didn't mentor me. No.
Can I just ask, which year did Jatin Sapru win it?
I guess so after that dream job, Harsha Ki Khoj, a couple of years, they didn't have that. Then after that, he went on to win. Yeah, he went on to win.
That's some kind, because this is why I like Indian broadcast media, because doing such a show at that very time was, I think, way ahead of time. That show itself.
Yeah, way ahead of time, and also shows that, how Indian broadcast also evolved. Imagine at that point, 2004, there were broadcasters lining up, running themselves for the big leagues. And some real talented guys in my group. I remember. Awesome, real good speakers, real smart cricket brains and all. And it was wonderful. It was a great experience for me. I mean, to go through 3-4 rounds. Wasim and in front of Harsha, bring live commentary and all that. My God. First time I'm holding that mic, that, commentary mic and all. So for me, it was like, in fact, now also when I see that video of mine, I'm shivering. But somehow I put something out in a way that had a flow. A bit broken, a bit disjointed, all of it, yeah. But because, it's called baptism by fire, Avash. You're thrown into the deep end. You have to learn how to swim, because otherwise you'll drown. It's like that. Yeah.
And it's a very good thing that you kept that part of yours, the video, because it's going to be, that's a core memory, right? And that's how you started the whole journey.
Yeah. Avash, I'll be very honest. However far you reach in life, you have to go back to where you started, Avash. I always watch that and see, this is where I started. And this is who I am. This is what I was.
Sure.
This is where I belong. All of what I've got is now a byproduct of what actually meant back then.
Tell you a very interesting fact. Just like yours, I also have my first television presented video. That was back in 2013. So that was the first time I was given to host the whole sports show. It was a weekly round of show called Champions.
Lovely.
So I don't know what went in my mind. I had bought a new hard disk. I just copied all the 3 parts. I still have it with me. I also do the same. I look at it time and again. I remind myself, Abbas, this was you when you started.
Yeah.
I think that keeps you grounded in life.
Yeah, it's very important to stay grounded. Please continue. I'd like to listen to your part.
I'm almost done.
Okay.
So, and that gives you a flashback of what you've done. As they say, it's the journey that's more important than the destination, right?
Yeah. I still remember. So true. I always wanted to be in front of TV. I mean, I worked through various channels as an assistant producer, all that, sitting on the desk. But I always wanted to be in front of TV. And I remember working in Z Sports. And I used to record a segment. I got through for anchoring. The production and the programming team did my audition and they said, he can go on air. That was a very big moment for me because to break into an existing setup is very difficult when you have 5-6 anchors in a channel. But luckily, a very kind gentleman he saw something and he felt that I can go on air. So I was not allowed to do the full bulletin and all. I was allowed to do a small segment, 2-minute chunk. That used to be a recorded piece. And so that recorded piece was what I create every day. They should never give me. So I would cover the Delhi Ranji team at Firozshah Kotla.
Wow.
So morning 7 o'clock, I would reach the ground because they used to practice in the morning. Take my camera person, do the stories, feature the Kohlis. That time there was Akash Chopra. That's how I know Akash Chopra from 2007. I used to do stories on him then.
Okay.
Akash Chopra, you had Ashish Nehra, Amit Bhandari, the senior pros. Then you had Lambu, Ishan Sharma, Shikhar, and do the stories, package a nice 2-minute chunk, do a Ranji roundup through the different states and zones, and then come behind a screen, green screen, and record that 2-minute chunk and edit it and give that. That time we had tapes.
Yeah.
We didn't have the other, slugs and all.
Yeah.
So we would keep putting tapes.
Mini ones or big ones?
Big ones.
Okay.
Big ones.
VHS.
Exactly. So, and after that would go, I would run, message my mom and dad, I'm coming on TV. I'm coming on TV. I didn't want the world to see, but I wanted them to see. The high is different.
True.
Okay. Even today, I tell them when I go on air that, this thing. And I would again, I was staying in a PG. I didn't have that time, TV and all. So I would go to my PG, come back at around 12:31 in the night to the office. Only because I could see the rerun of that show so that I can see myself on TV once. Because during the first show, I could not because I was, getting things done and also I don't know when that would go. But second time, I would come and see. You just want to see how things are going, whether, it's all camera friendly and a bit of a high that, okay, not bad, So.
Completely. I can completely relate to you because, well, again, the similar story is before getting to host the whole show, I got to host 2 segments. One was Q&A. It was a small bite with a cricketer or anyone who's doing good recently. So I used to go to Kirtipur, I used to go to Rangashala and everywhere. 2-3 questions and done.
Yeah.
So the first time I went was to do a small bite with Nepal's footballing legend Raju Gaji Shakya.
Wonderful.
So I went to his home, we sat in the sofa and I did it and I thought I did so well. So when he got back and my producer Ramanda, he saw it and he looked at me.
Oh my God.
I was so tired. It was in the evening time and it was my first time. I was nervous and he told me, don't worry, you'll get better. So I think you need to have someone that if you have someone that looks after you, that teaches you, then you're going to go.
Yeah, it's always good. And I'll just give you another drift to it as well. Sure. Many a times I would feel that when I would come out from the studio, I've done a bad job of this show. I would feel really bad. And suddenly I would receive a WhatsApp or an SMS, bro, enjoyed your show. I'm scratching my head and I'm trying to understand, listen, I'm not happy with myself, but somebody else has appreciated my work. And that's when I realized we can't be too hard on ourselves, firstly. Because every day you can't dish out 100%. Secondly, in the industry that we are in, already the industry is hard on you. Okay? So at every point in time, you just got to keep telling yourself, you've done well. If today is Monday, tomorrow is Tuesday, and day after is a better day. So that's how I've approached this industry, just trying to take it day by day. So it's good to have people, your confidants who maybe just give you, maybe भाई बाल ऐसे हो जाते हैं यार थोड़ा ऐसे कर देते हैं आप यार ये आपने क्या बोल दिया है, ठीक है. लेकिन मैं आजकल ज्यादा सुनता नहीं हूँ इतना. फीडबैक बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन एक पॉइंट के बाद मैं फीडबैक ज्यादा लेता नहीं हूँ, क्योंकि एडवाइस देने के लिए मुझे लगता है बहुत लोग बैठे. मैं सुनता हूँ लेकिन मैं अभी दिल पे नहीं लेता हूँ. इफ यू टेक इट टू हार्ट, then you're just being a bit too soft-hearted in this industry. I mean, this is how I look at it, but I'm not endorsing it to anybody or you, but मेरी experience जो मुझे बताती है.
Completely agree to what you're saying. So, you work in Z, you work in Neo, you work in NDTV, right?
Times Now. With Arunabh Goswami, the great man, yeah.
So, how did it all start? Your mass communication at Symbiosis,
Yeah.
it was going parallel, or you finished your mass communication and you went?
I did 2 years of mass communication in Symbiosis. And
it's a big college, right?
it is huge. Symbiosis is a huge, institution. And they have multiple, different, like,
faculties.
SIBM, SIMC, SIT, this, that. So I did my mass comm, and during that we had to also do an internship for 3 months. So I got an internship with NDTV. I forced myself into NDTV, and I remember that, initially when I did my internship, I was always looking at the sports desk. I was put in the general city desk, but my heart and mind was in the sports desk here. बैठना वहाँ था, क्रिकेट करना था. तो मैं यहाँ, तो जैसे आप वहाँ बैठे ना, आपका डेस्क स्पोर्ट्स डेस्क है, मैं जहाँ बैठा हूँ मेरा डेस्क जनरल डेस्क है. मैं जनरल डेस्क में बैठ के स्पोर्ट्स डेस्क को मेल कर रहा हूँ क्रिकेट आर्टिकल्स. हम इसके ऊपर कहानी बना सकते हैं, विकेट कीपर्स के ऊपर कहानी बना सकते हैं. धीरे धीरे फिर सबसे बात कर रहा हूँ. एक दोस्त बनाया मैंने स्पोर्ट्स डेस्क में. सॉरी, दोस्त बना के धीरे धीरे मैंने 15-20 दिन के बाद, तो मैं बेसिकली 15 दिन में जनरल डेस्क में इधर उधर भटक रहा था. फिर धीरे धीरे दोस्त बना के मैंने बोला मुझे स्पोर्ट्स करना है, स्पोर्ट्स में एक मौका दो. फिर 2.5 महीने मैंने बहुत मेहनत की वो स्पोर्ट्स डेस्क में. मैंने एक दिन भी छुट्टी नहीं ली. बॉस नौकरी चाहिए, बॉस इम्प्रेस करना है मेरे को. एनडीटीवी में क्रिकेट करना है. एनडीटीवी बहुत बड़ा ब्रांड था, और उधर आपने अगर नौकरी ले ली तो आपने कुछ हासिल किया. अब यकीन नहीं मानोगे, माई इंटर्नशिप वॉज ड्यूरिंग माई college tenure, which means we had to come back and do the 3 semesters more internship. When I left NDTV, मुझे ऑफर लेटर था internship में.
Wow.
Yeah. उन्होंने कहा, when the placements are on, you've already been placed with us, so you can come back and join us. बहुत अच्छा लगा. हालांकि आगे जाके NDTV के साथ मैं ज्यादा समय तक नहीं रह पाया, कुछ 6 से 8 महीने रह पाया, बट जो सीखने को मिला, जो nuances of news. I worked under one of the best journalists and sports journalists that time, Mrs. Sonali Chandar, and she was goddess of sports journalism. बहुत सीखा उनसे, उनके professionalism, how to write scripts to visuals, how to just create a wonderful story around visuals. तो ये सब मैं वहाँ से सीखा. इसलिए आज जब मैं मीडिया में अपना कमेंट्री या कुछ करता हूँ तो मुझे वो बेसिक्स आज भी याद है. तो एनडीटीवी से शुरू हुई मेरी रास्ता. फिर मैं जी में गया, जी से फिर मैं टाइम्स नाउ में गया, टाइम्स नाउ से फिर नियो क्रिकेट आया.
Neo was something, I think now we have social media, no? अभी तो क्या होता है कि रील देखते जाओ तो क्रिकेट का देखो, लाइक करो तो क्रिकेट के आते हैं. They start giving you from the early 70s, whatever they can find. People make beautiful songs. वो विराट के वो कोहली के कवर ड्राइव में एक गाना डाल देते हैं, मजेस्टिक ब्यूटीफुल लगता है. लेकिन Neo was something that was totally dedicated to cricket, right? And I remember your show was in Neo called C for Cricket.
Dial C for cricket.
Sorry, Dial C for Cricket.
Yeah.
that time, and I didn't mention you earlier, you and Akash Chopra, I find you guys similar face-wise also. Right? And
I wish we had the similar statistics on Instagram and Facebook as well.
but you have your own stature, both of you, right? So, doing a show that is live is a different challenge in itself.
Yeah.
And doing a show about cricket in a country that is crazy about the game itself,
Yeah.
every household has 2 to 3 analysts, right?
Yeah.
And in everybody. Is an analyst.
Very true.
So at that time, when you taking in calls, you're not just taking calls, you're taking in a challenge. What
True.
is that guy going to say today? And bringing all the stats in and everything. You did it for 5 long years.
Yeah.
It was an everyday show.
Cult show, I would say. I mean, you're right. I mean, एक चीज जो हमारे शो में हम लोगों ने अच्छा किया है कि हम लोगों ने स्टैट्स और फैक्ट्स बताए. नो फियर नो फेवर का हम लोगों ने एक अप्रोच रखा और हम लोगों ने सबको शामिल कर दिया आज इसमें. कॉल करो, बात करो, दिल से बात करो, जो आपको लगे बता दो. एक्सपर्ट बैठा है, वो अगर आपको लग रहा है you're not agreeing with him, उसको भी आप क्वेश्चन करो. That was a show. आप यकीन नहीं मानोगे, आज भी लोग मुझे याद करते हैं, मेरे फेसबुक या इंस्टाग्राम पे बोलते हैं, सर स्टार्ट डायल सी फॉर क्रिकेट अगेन. होपफुली समडे विल स्टार्ट. लेकिन एक जब इंस्टाग्राम नहीं था, जब फेसबुक नहीं था, जब रील्स नहीं था, जब डिजिटल एम्पलीफिकेशन नहीं था, ये शो ने अपनी एक जगह बना दी इंडस्ट्री में ही नहीं, लोगों के दिलों में भी. तो आई वाज फॉर्चुनेट टू गेट दैट शो. मतलब एक्सप्रेस योरसेल्फ, आओ भड़ास निकालो अगर आपको लगे. इंडिया जीता, ग्लोरीफाई द टीम. इंडिया हारा, क्वेश्चन वेयर इंडिया लॉस्ट. बट वी विल नॉट sit on the fence. That used to be I would tell if you're my guest or you're my expert, I'll say don't sit on the fence with me tonight. You're on the hot seat and we are looking for the real answers. तो वो भी 2 बार सोचते थे, भाई हम लोग आ रहे इसके शो में, आज क्या होने वाला है. तो मजा आता था. लेकिन it was all in good, jest and everything. So yes.
So till this point, when you were doing Dial C for cricket, right? One thing I've understood about you more is you're so good with stats and you're so good with putting the right stat on the right commentary platform, right? According to the movie, please the smallest chunk that relates and it glorifies the whole thing. So is this also because of the computer science, because you're good with numbers? Has that education helped you in your career for stats in...
My dad keeps saying I'm not great with numbers because I can't manage money well. But honestly, it's come because I've done a lot of groundwork as an assistant producer, reviewing stats from filters of websites and advanced filters and churn out the numbers and calculate 4 matches in Australia, ye wo. So wo automatically, once you've gone through that drill of being an assistant producer, creating a show and getting out numbers, now as a presenter and anchor, it's a very natural progression ki bhai, if I have to talk, I have to add some meat as well. Hawa mein nahi baat karne ka. Baat karne ka, we got to substantiate it with numbers or facts. So that's why I do a bit of this thing now also for the NPL that I'm doing. I create my own document and my dossier about players all through the 7 matches, how many overs he's bowled. तो बीच में अगर मौका मिल जाएगा मैं घुसा देता हूँ एक, इसने सिर्फ 3 विकेट लिए 4 मैचेस, लेकिन इसकी इकोनॉमी बहुत अच्छी है. जैसे अभिषेक गौतम से कल मैं बात कर रहा था, उसने कहा पहले मैचेस में मेरे को विकेट्स नहीं मिले, अब जाके मिल रहा है. लेकिन मैंने कहा अभिषेक एक चीज याद रखो, आपकी जो इकोनॉमी है पहले मैचेस में वो बेहतरीन है.
Yes.
तो उसने बोला हाँ. I said don't be too hard on yourself. You've created these wickets because you've been just containing the batters. So these stats numbers play a vital role because you have to substantiate something if you're saying something.
So when you were doing Dial C for cricket, आपको कभी ऐसा हुआ कि you always have your part of analytics, right?
Yeah.
So someone has called and midway through the show, उस बंदे ने आपकी एनालिटिक्स को सोचने में मजबूर कर दिया है. हुआ ऐसा कभी?
और मैंने सीधा एक्सपर्ट पर डाल दिया है.
Yeah, sir.
अगर मेरे को पसंद है मैं said it's over to you sir, what do you have to say about it? So good thing about shows, live shows where you have a producer director na, they are in your ears as well, Avash. So they also are your backup. देखिए a lot of what a lot about an anchor is what's the kind of director and producer is in your ears. A great director will enhance the anchor. So if I'm the heart of the show, the director is the engine of the show. Should remember that. So I was blessed to have some great director producers. So sometimes they would bail me out. कभी-कभी क्या हो जाता था ना कि इनका जो टॉक बैक होता है ना, they are constantly in my ears. तो मैं शो कर रहा हूँ, hello, good evening and welcome, you're all set for a lovely show again. We have great topics to talk about. ये सब और ये पीसीआर में बात कर रहे हैं और ये ऑडियो मेरे कान में बज रहा है. ये ग्राफिक डाल, ये रेडी रख. सडनली ये बंद हो जाता था. मेरे को डर हो जाता था. Because मेरे को सन्नाटा नहीं चाहिए कान में. I need the commotion and the chaos.
You need that.
I need that.
Okay.
I can't. अगर ये क्वाइट हो गया तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ भाई कुछ तो गड़बड़. तो जैसे कैमरा उनके ऊपर कट होता था मैं ऐसे कर रहा हूँ. So whenever there used to be a tricky reply or a tricky question, my director would quickly find a bailout. I would try to think of something. In the meanwhile, I would toss it to the guest so that I can come out with a reply as well and bail the guest also out. So it's fun. In a live show, that's something, a challenge as well, because it's not recorded or something. You never know what he says, who he says. It's like that.
Because why I can relate to this is in Nepal, a lot of broadcasters, I think almost from every camera person to the commentators, we get the same talk back, right?
Yeah.
So especially when we were commentating, जब फुटबॉल में करते हैं ना, तो फ्लो नहीं रहता है. तो मेरा पार्टनर तो होता है, मैं उसको बोलता हूँ तू सुन कुछ हो तो मुझे बताना. So I just take my earpiece off. So just for 2-3 minutes before the halftime, I put it on because I don't want to ruin my flow at times. But when I'm doing pre-match, I need that because, as you said, the broadcasters, our broadcaster Yupesh Pradhan.
Yeah, he's
I
know it very well. Yeah, he's doing some amazing job, particularly in the field of football, right?
Yeah. I think he also does cricket.
Yes, he's done a lot of cricket as well.
Yes. Yupesh Sai also gives insight. His Aman Dai, Vishal. So I think that coming from the director is coming from very calm person place and from the audience perspective.
Yeah. And you made a good point, and I guess any aspiring broadcaster today or a commentator is there, I would like to just share this very important bit of information. When you're doing something, right, on air as an anchor or a commentator, you have to impress/make life easy for your director and producer. Don't think about the crowd. If you make life easy for your director and producer, you've done 75 to 80% of the job as well. Because you're doing things right, and the crowd also will like it, obviously, yes. But if you're not doing it easy for the producer and the director with their commands or just understanding the nuances of production direction and the cuts and this and that, then it becomes a bit difficult for them as well. As simple as that.
True, completely agree. So, so far you've been in this field for almost 2 decades. I think maybe more than.
Yeah, I had a gap of 7-8 years. I mean, the opportunities were far and few. I opened up my own cricket academy. I became a coach. There was no broadcast coming my way. So I had to find another option to sustain and earn money, but around cricket. So in 2013, when things shut down for me in the broadcast setup, luckily I got a place. I started training and coaching kids. It's 10 years now I've been running that academy, created some wonderful talents. And in the meanwhile, I've created a couple of more properties around cricket. So yeah, 7-8 years I was not in the media. You can say 2 decades because I did some small gigs here and there. I've hung around. I keep telling everybody, hang in there, things change.
True.
So I'm glad I've just stuck around cricket, yeah.
Hang in there, you become a pujara.
Yeah. You become anybody. It's like that, correct, right?
True.
Yeah, but that's a strong line I've always believed. Things change, hang in there. Yeah.
True. Because whenever I'm down, there are a few videos I watch. And I watched this video of Harsha Bhogle saying, when things get tough, you don't get out, you hang in there, you become a pujara.
Yeah.
I really love those lines.
Yeah, but I really, I was giving a talk recently in another setup in Mumbai, and they asked me the one line that really keeps me going. And I told that the one that Harivansh Rai Bachchan told Amitabh Bachchan, that line has stayed with me rather. Jab tak jeevan hai, tab tak sangharsh hai. That's how we embrace hustle the day we take birth, and That's how it is. And along the hustle, we create the memories and the opportunities.
Talking about Harivansh Rai Bachchan, I like that poem. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. That's also one of the videos I always listen to when I feel a bit down.
It reminds me of Koshi Koshan, Hamro Pehchan, or the Viranagar Kings.
Okay, you used to Nepal now.
I'm like, yeah.
So, talking about only not going to a live cricket broadcast, but the whole TV thing, the whole spectrum that you ever did. What do you think kept you in the picture and you were in the spotlight? So, there's always something you possess that's different. There's something I possess that's different. It's like the unique selling prospect. So, what do you think was special about you? Was it your passion? Was it your knowledge of the game? What do you think was of
I
that?
guess there was a lot of self-belief in me. I would see there are times when things don't go your way, Avash. And you won't believe it. I've had to find revalidation by looking into the mirror and talking to myself and saying, maybe I still belong here. But then I came to realize a very important aspect. And I realized that for everything, there is time. And then you've got to believe in that time when it comes. And through that phase, you've got to maintain a lot of patience and resilience. So I would keep standing in front of the mirror and talking to myself or doing a presentation or just trying to keep telling myself that, listen, I still have it in me. Because sometimes when you're out of media for 7-8 years now, you just completely lose the drift. Yeah. You do. I remember coming back after 7-8 years as well. One of my first leagues was in Nepal only, in a private league, and I was just not confident because a lot had passed by 7 years. But again, I had to restart from zero. But that belief was there that if I get back that lost confidence, I can again just start sailing once again. So there was a great amount of self-belief. And I believed in the process of time. I keep saying this, we are all puppets of time. I just said, hang in there, opportunities will come. Just wait for your turn, I'm glad God has been kind. People have shown some faith. And I would like to, just be grateful for this opportunity. Today I'm sitting with you means I've done something right, Avash.
Me too. Same goes.
No, you've done a lot. Yeah.
Because the one of the reasons I do this podcast is it was always a dream to have something of my own.
Yeah.
And the wave of podcast started in Nepal. So I felt like I have to do podcast. I went like I should go general podcast or my specific podcast. Everybody knows me by this crazy Arsenal fan. My nickname is Gunner itself.
That's
right. So that's why I felt like I think go for sports. I can not just create a podcast, but if I had the right team, I can create a whole sports content thing. So I think that's one thing that keeps you going. And just like you said, you know that you were good at one point. This actually happened to me back in 2018. I'm being like, we resonate a lot because I had this gap with cricket. And in 2018, when Pokhara Premier League happened, I came in as a host after a long time.
Hey.
And at that time, first few days, it was difficult for me. And I used to go back to the hotel, look myself in the mirror. I used to tell myself, this is not the Avash that's doing it. Bring that Avash back. I used to tell myself in the mirror.
Very good. Very good.
I think that helps you a lot.
हाँ देखिए बोलते हैं ना कि आपकी मदद करने वाला आप ही है. मदद बहुत कम मिलता है. अगर मिल गया तो बहुत ही अच्छा. But you have to help yourself. Whether it's physically, skillfully, mentally, it's only about you. So for me, it's been a story where I've always believed, just like how you are saying, you have to really give yourselves that push and believe that you can do it. Hang around. Thankfully, now the opportunities also are a lot. Back then, the opportunities were a little less. You only had channels. You didn't have the other things happening, OTTs and this and that. So now, thankfully, everybody with talent is at least getting some, screen space or something.
Everyone can be a contributor now.
Exactly. Now it's all about, content creation, and everyone's become I'm just trying to learn that part as well. I'm not that great at it.
So now let's move a bit towards commentary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So just like I previously mentioned that you have this skill in you that I always notice is that you give the right stat and small amount of stat and you give your words and that amplifies the whole thing,
Yeah.
right? But in order to give that small amount of fact, is always this big chunk of raw information with you,
Yeah.
right? So I think processing that information and placing it in the right time.
So I've always learned in media, less is more. That's a very important line you need to keep in mind. So you have to say something that says a lot, but it's just one line or one word, Like just maybe say he's been in great form coming into this tournament, but his scores in the last 3 have been 3, 2, and 1. It's for the audience to decide now what's his form. Okay, his current form or his class. You just try to play around with numbers, but I've always believed in glorifying players. You've got to hatch eggs, you can't smash eggs. That is the key for me. You do something wrong and get out, you can be critical of that shot. That's about it. You just narrate it. But yeah, as you rightly pointed out, I try to have some numbers or some stats just to give an extra bit of information. Like कभी-कभी क्या होता है ना, एक पूरा graphic होता है. Highest score 75, strike rate 160. तो मैं पूरा नहीं बोलता क्योंकि वो लोग देख सकते हैं. So what people can see is already said. What people cannot see should be said, should be told. So I try to find something around that. That enhances the broadcast. So I will just pick, in all of that, I wouldn't mind another innings where a strike rate is of 160 today. Okay? So something around that. I don't state the obvious. I try stating something around it.
Wow.
Again, I'm learning, Avash. I'm also a work in progress. You know it. Yeah.
I think the whole point about life, it's a never-ending learning process.
Haji, absolutely. आपने सही कहा.
I actually got this line from my psychology back in bachelor's degree. So I really like that line. Life is learning is a process of life. Never stop learning. Right? Lot of directors. We had this Nepal's first director who directed digitally movie. Right? It was called Kagwen. It's a very cinematic, beautiful movie. You should watch it.
Okay.
So Vidur Pandey, he died a few years back. So he has been a mentor for me at times. And he used to tell me, like, he had done maybe around 2,500 music videos and maybe more than 500 movies. And he told me, we were in Pokhara, it was a rest day and we were just having some beer, and told me, Abbas, I'm still learning. At that point, it struck me because a senior guy like him is saying that I'm still learning, that who am I? So that thing, you can please take your time, cough it out.
Then I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. So my senior commentator, I told you, Sanjeev Shilpakar, is the voice of Nepali sport.
I heard that, yes.
And with Nepali people, everybody will relate. More than 20 years of experience. Wow. And he always gives me 3 I's. So I've written it down: identification, information, and interpretation.
Wonderful, yeah. Sweet. Maybe I've learned something new today as well. Thank you.
So he always tells me identifying not just players, but also the information about them. And then you interpret the information, and then it's where you need to place those information. Sometimes we tend to give away too much of information in a single game that we run out in the second game. So I think the balance should be there, right?
Yeah, balance is so important. Everything in moderation. You don't want to overdo things. Yeah, first you need to identify that entire player, sport, and that entire situation. Then you want to lead into the information, and how you put it across is the interpretation as well. I totally relate to all of it. See, it depends on situation to situation. In a T20 format, when a spinner is bowling, you really can't identify, interpret, and give out the information. You know, by the time you bring in the expert as well. I was just talking to Carlos Brathwaite yesterday. I said, Carlos, I'm sorry, I'm not able to have a conversation with you because the overs are going so fast. So, but this is what media is all about. I remember when I just joined NDTV, one of our very senior journalists, Rajdeep Sardesai, was sitting alongside me. I was just a newbie. He was like, your first time in broadcast? Like, write to visuals. He's like, speak to visuals. Your visuals will be telling your story and nothing else. So try creating your words around the visuals. So interpretation and information all is around that only. So I totally, Mr. Shilpakar's three eyes are bang on.
I think we as a commentator, we're visual storytellers.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Simple.
सही कहा आपने.
So, this is for the aspiring audience of ours who want to become commentators. I get a lot of texts. So, like they ask me, how do I become a commentator? So, what are the qualities you need, in your opinion, to become a good commentator?
Yeah, I'll have to look into that camera and tell them then. If
This one.
Oh, this one.
This is
Okay.
it.
Okay. So one is, when you want to be a commentator or a host, be a natural extension of your personality. Don't try to be someone else. What you are, who you are, that natural version of you should come out. That's so very important. I've never believed in impersonation or copying styles. Second, in terms of your research, in terms of your analysis, in terms of your homework, in terms of your knowledge, you should know your subject. You should know what you're talking. Otherwise, you're doing a great amount of disservice to yourself and to the broadcast as well, and more importantly, to the sport. I look at it that way, Avash. It's so very important that today broadcasters realize that who they are, what they are. Is what they put out. They can be a bit more articulate in that manner, but their database, their knowledge, their information, and their engagement skills. I'll tell you a very interesting piece now, and it'll really. I had the good fortune of learning camera and talking in front of the camera from a very senior camera person called Ajmal Jami back in NDTV. He was the camera person of Barkha Dutt back then. And you won't believe it. In my first day of orientation with him, he asked me, Mikhail, how good a flirt are you? And I'm like, such a senior camera person is asking me, मैं तो 25-26 का था यार, मैं तो काम के सिलसिले से बाहर निकल रहा हूँ. Mikhail, how good a flirt are you? I said, sir, I've really not seen that side of me, but yeah.
Please continue.
So he asked me, Mikhail, how good a flirt are you? So I said, sir, I'm still to tap that side of me. Is it? Okay. Then do one thing. Start flirting with the camera. The day you start flirting with the camera, you get comfortable with the camera. And once you get comfortable with the camera, you could be talking to your girlfriend, to your dad, to your mom, to your brother. That's how it is. So today when I'm talking to the camera, I'm like, hello and welcome to the presentation of the SBL NPL Season 2. It's just wonderful. They've been the storytellers. So I'm actually speaking to a friend or to somebody I know. So that light, when it switches on in the camera, it doesn't really skip my heartbeat. I'm actually just opening up and talking to somebody whom I know for years. So that was a very important line that stayed with me. And I'm sure many young broadcasters will now will get to know that camera is not your enemy, it's your best friend.
Wonderful words.
Yeah.
This is going to be my top note in my career now.
No.
Because I feel I at times stop smiling when I speak.
Yeah.
Because at times you're doing analysis and you're going so deep that you stop smiling. But I think that helps smiling and moving around, right? So, and I think another most important part of being a presenter or a commentator is, though there was a time when commentators were not seen on camera.
Right.
But these days they are seen on camera in the pre-match, post-match, right? So how important it is to be presentable in front of the camera?
See, a good question again. I'd want to believe when you're going on air, you have to present the best version of yourself. Be it the way you've dressed, be it the way you've kept your hair or everything, or be it with your words. Everything about you should be pristine and should be precise, and people should say, that's a pleasing personality with a very fine representation of himself or herself. And I strongly believe the entire concept of presentation is what today. हम लोग खाना खाने जाते, हम लोग बोलते हैं भाई presentation तो बहुत अच्छा था खाने का. तो presentation is the first bit that appeals to everybody, ना? वहाँ से फिर हम लोग खाने को और tasty मानते हैं ना? तो presentation is a very vital ingredient in the entire concept of broadcast media.
So now today in the world of content creators, so what you are explaining to become a good presenter also relates to content creators, right?
Yeah.
So in order to become a good content creator, be it a big lens or a small mobile lens, I think the whole deal is the same thing.
Yeah, but I feel there's a big difference again, being a content creator and being a television broadcaster. I still need to learn a lot about content creation from some of the best content creators, because that's not my territory, and I'm trying to, learn the ropes and do all of it. But I just feel as a broadcaster who's come from the conventional mold of television broadcasting and, done those basic hardcore, broadcast drills. I just always feel there are two different sides of the coin, Avash. Being a broadcaster, being a commentator, to being a content creator is, I just feel I can't explain it in words, but I feel there's a bit of a difference in the entire structure or the way it's done. I look at it that way. Content creators are killing it today. They are really on top of their game, and they've really captured the market and the fans. Broadcasters, how do I put it? I mean, it would be very hard for me to explain that, to be very honest.
I'll add up to your thing. So I wanted to talk about maintaining objectivity, because you start as a content creator. At that time, you don't know a lot of people, especially the players and some of the franchise team owners, right? So when you already become a commentator and you try to do shows of analysis and everything, or doing a post-match analysis at the stadium or at the studio, you're already in a relation with some of the players, some of the team owners, and at times you have to criticize their performances, be it constructive criticism, I call it. I try to do it very in a constructive way, and I get a lot good reaction from players that they say, whenever we don't play good, you don't strictly criticize us, but you go in a very constructive way, so that helps us to improve even better.
True.
So has it happened to you that you know a lot of players, right?
Yeah.
So at times you have to criticize them, because not just one game, few games they're not playing good. How do you manage to keep a good relation with players, team owners, and people you criticize at times?
Yeah, again, you got to be very subtle, right? You really can't be too obvious in all of it. Sometimes I would just not do anything when the players I knew didn't perform. It would put me in a situation and a spot. But you can't hide the facts. The point is that if I'm not putting it out, somebody else is putting it out at the end of the day. So the idea is to, maybe, as you rightly mentioned, आपने कहा था कि constructive criticism. So you can word it around in a way saying that, फिलहाल इनके numbers इतने अच्छे नहीं है पिछले 5 मैचेस में, लेकिन अगर उनकी पूरी परफॉर्मेंस को देखा जाए लास्ट 1 ईयर में, उनके आंकड़े बहुत अच्छे हैं, तो यही मानना पड़ेगा कि वो वापस ही कर सकते हैं, और इनमें अभी बहुत टाइम और काबिलियत है. So you highlight the shortcoming, but you glorify the best part. So, I mean, even if I don't know the player, I would do that. Not just I know the player. Because at the end of the day, an athlete puts in a lot of hard work, Avash. A lot of hard work. A lot of sacrifices. I mean, the parents as well. And we've all been athletes. We know how much support we've got, how many waking up in the morning, doing those drills. So I realize it's very easy to criticize, and it's very easy to glorify as well. And already there is a set of audience that's going to be very critical on you. What you can do best is by not being that audience who's criticizing, and maybe being the one that is just adding a bit of balm and buffer in the troubled testing times.
So another aspect of Mikhail is, you're already established commentator. You've done your part in sports presentation, in live shows and everything. Now you've been a former player yourself, and also I think from 2015 you have your own academy. You're training players, right? You're trying to produce some talents that will play someday for India.
Yeah.
So how has that worked out? You have your own cricket academy.
Yeah, I have my own cricket academy. Thanks for the research. 2015, October 27th is when I opened the academy for the very first time. That's because I didn't have a job for 2.5 years. So I was trying to find avenues and opportunities. I gave auditions everywhere and all. It didn't really materialize. Then I said, let it be. I need to find a way out, and I need to just find things for myself. I got this academy and I got going. 10 years on, been creating some wonderful talents, and hopefully at some point they'll all make it big. Few of them have gone on to play age group cricket for Mumbai. I'm trying to create 1 or 2 for the future at a bigger level. But yeah, the cricket academy is when I had nothing. It's the cricket academy that gave me everything, Avash. from a broadcaster that I was in Neo. I lost my job, and for 2.5 years I didn't have anything. Was just trying to find another job. Nobody opened doors for me because it was all packed. And then my academy gave me a job where I started coaching kids. And that's when I realized you've got to do things yourself and not really depend on people or the world or the system. You have to create your own system. That's when I realized that I need to create multiple verticals where I know that I can sustain myself through troubled times and be my own boss and do things my way. That was a very conscious decision and effort I decided, and thankfully 10 years on it has paid off, and I'm very grateful for all the yes and the no's in the life. So, I've taken it in the stride, and I'm really appreciative of everything.
So, being a mentor in a youth area, right? I think that has also given you some insights on, okay, I should do my commentary this way. Because at one point when you're teaching a kid, I think I should relate this to the commentary. Next time I'm going to try this. Has it ever happened?
See, honestly, when I'm a mentor with the kids, I just be a commentator because there is an expert to discuss all the mentorship part. I'm a lead. I have a former cricketer with me. So he's been a bigger mentor at some point.
Who's the gentleman?
Any expert. So if I'm commentating, I have a former cricketer with me who's played higher level of cricket. So the entire mentorship talk, the entire technical talk, ideally belongs to the expert. Unless I'm becoming an expert with a commentator, being a lead, then I just open up about how these days kids are approaching their cricket. What a front foot was once upon a time has now become a front press. Not going close to the ball now, going away and creating the angles to play all through. So then I talk about how these days kids approach their cricket when I'm mentoring them in the middle. So that's when I try to bring in a bit of it, but I try to stay within the boundaries where if I am not supposed to talk all of this, I don't talk. You've got to have a very strong broadcast ethic and a broadcast hygiene. It's very important because your contemporaries also come with their fair share of database and knowledge. So you've got to really fit into situations, not dictate it. Respect the environment is how I've grown.
What has commentary taught you in life?
Commentary has taught me to work around different people, different voices, different statures, different egos. And commentary has most importantly taught me to just respect everyone involved in it and try to be the most cooperative and flexible individual in a broadcast setup. Everyone's having problems. Everyone's fighting problems. This is not working. That is not working. My job is to find solutions in a problem and not find a bigger problem in a problem. That's what I've realized in this industry, Avash. You got to help each other out. Make it easier for the others. Sir, ये काम नहीं कर रहा, no problem. एक और ऑप्शन है, नहीं है, ठीक है, इसमें हम लोग चला लेंगे. ऐसा है. ये नहीं कि क्या भाई ये काम नहीं कर रहा यार, ये मैं इसमें नहीं मानता हूँ. क्योंकि देखिए ये टेक्निकल चीज है, होती है चीजें ये सब ब्रॉडकास्ट में. मैं ऐसे मानता हूँ, मैं ऐसे देखता हूँ चीजों को यार. बट ये मेरी सोच है, ये मेरी इंडिविजुअल ओपिनियन है.
I just want to go off track for one topic because I remember the Taj attack. During the Taj attack, you were there working for 48 hours, ground reporting.
Yeah.
And it was something that you risked your life to do.
Yeah, there were a couple of spine-chilling stories of mine that I've not shared with many. I would not say risk, but at one stage I remember I would have been running into risk. Many stories there. I mean, I don't know if I should be saying it on this platform. I ended up speaking to a terrorist on the phone. How that happened, it's again an accident, but it happened. Then my camera person, I'll talk about that later. My camera. So I remember when the entire thing started, I was at home and I saw it on TV. Of course, I was in Times Now then. So I opened Times Now and I saw it like, massive pandemonium and all of that. I called up Arnav Goswami. He was my editor-in-chief and I tell him, sir, if you need me at this time, I am available. Very high on patriotism, very high on nationalism. I said, sir, I know I'm a sports journalist, but if you want me to cover the attacks, I'm available, sir. You just let me know, I will come. He said, Mikhil, I'll let you know in some time. After a couple of hours, he says, tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, you're going outside Trident. So-and-so is a camera person. You'll be stationed there. Get us all the stories from ground zero. मैंने कहा ठीक है. तो अब ये कहानी बताता हूँ. तो मैं अभी चल रहा हूँ नारीमन पॉइंट में, मरीन ड्राइव में. सब बैरिकेड हो गया है एयर इंडिया के बिल्डिंग के साइड से. और हम लोग ट्राइडेंट में लोग को देख सकते हैं, वो बेचारे लोग विंडो खोल के, कर्टन खोल के वेव कर रहे हैं. और हम लोग बोल रहे हैं भाई हम लोग कुछ कर नहीं सकते. तो बाहर बहुत से सिविलियंस खड़े थे. तो मैंने कहा व्हाट ब्रिंग्स यू हियर, मैंने एक आदमी को पूछा. उसने कहा मेरी बहन और मेरा ब्रदर इन लॉ अंदर अटके हुए, मैं कब से उनका नंबर ट्राई कर रहा हूँ, फोन नहीं उठा रहे. तो मैंने कहा क्या मैं ट्राई कर सकता हूँ? हाँ ले लीजिए. तो मुझे नंबर मिला. तो मैंने अपने एडिटर को नंबर दिया. मैंने कहा सर इस एक मैडम का नंबर मिला है, अंदर है वो, तो आप ट्राई कर लीजिए अगर बात हो सकती है तो. 5 मिनट बाद मेरे को कॉल करके मेरा एडिटर गाली दे रहा है मेरे को, क्या मेरे साथ गेम खेल रहा है ये टाइम पे. तो मैंने कहा सर मैं समझ में नहीं आ रहा आप क्या बोल रहे हो, किसका नंबर दिया है? ऐसे सर एक मैडम का नंबर दिया है, उनका भाई बाहर खड़ा है, बोल रहे कब से ट्राई मारा है. सच कह रहा है. ऐसे सर मैं क्यों जोक करूंगा इधर. तो इधर कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. फिर ही से विजिट कुछ अलग ही बंदे ने उठाया ना, कुछ अलग ही बोला. अच्छा. तो मैंने फिर अपने मोबाइल से कॉल किया. 3310 होते थे हमारे पास, नोकिया के. तो मैंने अपने फोन से कॉल किया. जिस बंदे ने उठाया, जिस तरह उसने बात की और जो उसने बोला, मैं हिल गया. तो मैंने वो औरत का नाम लिया. मैंने कहा क्या वो है, क्या मैं उससे बात कर सकता हूँ? वो हंसने लगा और बोला वो उस दुनिया में नहीं रही. मेरा तो आउट हो गया, मतलब मेरा सिस्टम ही बंद हो गया अंदर से. तो और वो भाई पूछ रहा है क्या कनेक्ट हुआ बात हुई? मैंने बोला नहीं हुआ. क्या बोलूं उसको? मैंने फोन रख दिया, मैंने सिम निकाल दिया, बैटरी निकाल दिया. डर ये था कि टेररिस्ट को मेरा नंबर मिल गया. आप समझे? तो फिर मैं निकल गया वहां से. 1 वीक लेटर आफ्टर एवरीथिंग इज ओवर, मैंने वो बंदे को फिर से मैसेज किया जो बाहर मिला, जिसकी बहन और ब्रदर लॉ अंदर थे. मैंने बोला भाई सब ठीक? बोला भाई दोनों गुजर गए वो अटैक में. मेरे को तो पता पड़ गया वही दिन कॉल में ना, लेकिन मैं उसको बोल नहीं पाया. आप समझे ना? तो मैं तो have seen stories of heartbreak, seen stories of courage, seen stories of self-belief, and I've seen stories of what do I call fearless. My camera person, वो ट्राइडेंट के नीचे से ऊपर से ऐसे ले रहा था. सडनली वो टेररिस्ट ने आके स्प्रे किया ऊपर से बुलेट्स. वो नीचे नारीमन पॉइंट के ब्रेक वाटर्स में जाके बैठ गया. ठीक है. तो फिर वो मेरे को शाम में कॉल करता है, देख मिखेल मेरा बैटरी खत्म हो गया फोन का, मैं सुबह से पानी नहीं पिया है, मैंने कुछ खाया भी नहीं है, मेरे को वड़ा पाव लेके आ. तो मैंने बोला भाई तू उस तरफ है, पूरा बैरिकेड है, मैं आऊंगा कैसे? वो बोला तू एनसीपीए बिल्डिंग के पीछे से आ जा. पीछे से आके एक रास्ता है. मैंने बोला पागल है क्या भाई, कोई नहीं है उधर, शाम का है, सन इज सेटिंग. बोला भाई प्लीज मेरे लिए कर. मैं हाई ऑन नेशनलिज्म. मैं गया, वड़ा पाव लेके गया, 2 बिस्लरी बॉटल लेके गया, और मैं फोन का बैटरी लेके गया. किसके फोन का बैटरी? नहीं मैं अपना फोन ही लेके गया. तो मैं पीछे से भाग रहा हूँ भाई, एंड आई कैन हियर द ग्रेनेड्स एंड द गन शॉट्स, एंड आई एम रनिंग. अब 2 चीजों का डर है, कोई मेरे को ना समझ ले कि मैं एक हूं उनमें से. दूसरा, अगर वो पूरे गोलेबारी में मुठभेड़ में वो अगर बाहर निकल रहा है टेररिस्ट, मैं सामने आ गया तो मैं बाहर, मैं आउट. मैं तो भागा, मैं प्लास्टिक बैग बॉटल लेके भाग रहा हूँ उसको देने के लिए. जाके वो ऊपर चढ़ के हम लोग मिलते ऐसे. मैंने बोला देख भाई ये पानी है, वड़ा पाव है, चल अभी तूने बहुत ले लिया. नहीं भाई मैं वापस जा रहा हूँ, अच्छे विजुअल्स आ रहे, एक्सक्लूसिव विजुअल्स आ रहे. मैंने बोला भाई क्या कर रहा है यार? बोला नहीं भाई. तब मैंने देखा कि बॉस काम होता है. नेशनलिज्म और पेट्रियोटिज्म के आगे मतलब कोई सोचता नहीं है. ऐसा रब किया किसी तेरा फोन का बैटरी. मैंने तब भी एक फोनो किया था अर्नब के साथ. आई हैड टू डू अ लाइव फोनो with a curtain and all, they come and burn and all, so we had got that visuals. So I got those visuals and I sent it. उसके बाद मैंने बैटरी इसको दे दी. उसके बाद मेरा फोन बंद. मेरे घर पे टेंशन हो गया, अभी मेरा फोन नहीं लग रहा. तो that entire episode was like crazy, bhai. You know, I saw a foreigner coming out, poor guy, fully covered in debris and blood because he somehow managed to come out. I met one boy in Nariman Point who was walking. His name is Shale. And I said, Shale, what brings you here, bro? He says, my dad's stuck inside. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. No, don't worry. I know my dad. He's too smart. He'll come out. He's too smart. I know my dad. He'll even give a slip to the terrorists. ऐसा बात कर रहा था वो. डैडी अंदर अटका है. कोई भी मतलब डाउन होगा. वो चल रहा है. म्यूजिक सुन रहा है. मेरे से बात कर रहा है. शेक हैंड कर रहा है. And he says, bro, give me your number. I'm going home to change. When I come back, is there any update? You let me know. And I बोला ठीक है भाई. क्या मतलब क्या? I mean, I never saw somebody with that kind of attitude, especially when your dad is stuck inside with the terrorists. 1 week later, I message him also, bhai. Like how I messaged that other gentleman. I message him also. I said, bhai, all well? Yeah, bro, dad is sleeping. He's resting. I'm like, wow. मजा आ गया ये कहानी सुन के. मतलब, you know, so many things like that. Yeah. We all stood in a line, Avash. जब पूरी आर्मी ट्रक्स आई ना, हम सब लोग वंदे मातरम. सब जर्नलिस्ट क्राउड. फिर रात को लोग ना मरीन ड्राइव से ना हम सबको देख रहे. तो सुबह सुबह चाय, बिस्किट, ब्रेड, जैम घर वाले लेके हमको खिला रहे, क्योंकि उनको पता था हम 48 आवर्स. फिर अगले दिन मैं ताज गया, because Trident was sanitized, all the terrorists were cleansed. Then Taj they had to go, so I went there. That's where I did the story on the NSG commandos. I saw them, they did a great job, and I did a story that time. The then Home Minister L.K. Advani told in the Parliament के Times Now के एक journalist ने हमारे NSG commandos पे कहानी की, वो कहानी ने मेरे दिल को छू लिया.
Wow.
So that's when I got a lot of appreciation and praise for a real story I put out. You know, I didn't try to glorify or put a lot of mirch masala and this thing. I just saw them. These guys were eating biscuit and having Bisleri water after 63 hours of this thing. उनको अपने NSC commandos बस सिर्फ एक बिस्किट और पानी पी रहे थे, और लोग रोज आके दे रहे थे. सब लोग रोज आके दे रहे थे, saying thank you very much. और वो लोग सब हंस रहे हैं कमांडोज काम करने के बाद. हंस रहे हैं बिंदास. मतलब मैंने सोचा भाई 63 आवर्स का तुम बैटल करके आए हो, मतलब यू हैव फेस डेथ एंड यू हैव कम आउट ऑफ इट, एंड तुम लोग रिलैक्स हो, हंस रहे हो. ये वो वो वीडियो बहुत वायरल हो गया. That time there was no social media, लेकिन वो एक वीडियो बहुत वायरल हो गया. मेरा एक स्टोरी NSG कमांडोज के ऊपर, अगर आपने देखा होगा.
You were in the boss itself.
हाँ जी, मैं बस में गया, उनके साथ बैठा, तो उन्होंने कहा we just did our duty, and one guy said किसी को नहीं छोड़ेंगे अपने देश के लिए. That's a very nice patriotic story.
Have you done was this any incident that you went to do a player's profiling or something, but you found out more deeper story in that player?
See, firstly, I never went with an intention to go deep, because, you know, every player's at the end of the day are human. So everybody has a story, maybe has a past or something. But I've gotten to know them personally and gotten to know the other side of them, which sometimes I feel should not be really told. You know, it's too personal and it's more friendly and all of that. Yeah, but I've stuck to the cricket, a bit of family here and there. But yeah, I mean, I've just tried to keep it very simple. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about NPL now. Right?
Yeah.
So, how has the experience of Nepal Premier League been so far?
See, Nepal Premier League, they say it's the festival of the Himalayas. But I feel that it is the greatest thing that has happened to Nepal in recent years.
True.
Can't dispute it.
Completely agree.
Yeah. And the way the way the players, the way the stakeholders, the way the association, I just feel what a country needs is joy. One. What a country needs is a reason to unite. What a country needs is a lot of happiness. And NPL has given Nepal that moment and a very strong and a bright future.
What's, from the commentator's point of view, how do you see the whole competition in terms of competitive cricket in Nepal?
See, I've been covering Nepal cricket for a while, and I must admit, Nepal's competitive edge is very strong and growing, and they're making some right moves as well. I was with Paras Khadka in Singapore during the ICC annual conference in September, October 2025. Yeah. July, August. I'm missing the date. And I still remember Paras made a presentation on the Nepal Premier League Season 1 in front of 103 or 108 member countries and their CEOs with Mr. Jaisha, the ICC chairman as well, and all the other dignitaries as well, that were Mr. Devjit Saike as well, or the BCCI secretary. And you won't believe it. That entire room for that 25 to 30 minutes of presentation was floored. They were floored. दंग रह गए देख के एनपीएल सीजन 1 ने क्या किया था. पारस खड़का ने जिस अंदाज से एनपीएल का ब्लूप्रिंट बताया, उसका जो ग्लोबल एम्प्लीफिकेशन हुआ वो दिन, massive. And then he laid out the futuristic plan as well of playing tests and the fact that his priority is test cricket. मैं आपको एक चीज बताना चाहूंगा. When a board, when the right men have their heart and mind at the right place, right things and great things happen. Nepal women's qualification now in January. One more hurdle, they'll make it to their first ever T20 World Cup appearance. Back-to-back Nepal's T20 World Cup appearance in the men's. The under-19 boys doing some great job as well. NPL breaking records. These are massive signs. And you won't believe it. I had stated some time back in one of my tweets, Asia's new powerhouse of cricket is here and it's called Nepal. The fact that Faf du Plessis says, my interest in Nepal grew when I saw the crowds coming in these numbers, made me want to play in front of such crowds, because we as cricketers want to play in front of crowds. We don't want to play in empty stadiums. Now this is a huge statement. I had stated on my reel as well, because the world is making note of the fanfare and the crowd power and the passionate crowd. This is what is the strongest point of any cricketing nation. कि हम लोग कल एक थर्ड वर्ल्ड कंट्री में भी अगर नेपाल को क्रिकेट खिलाएंगे ना, वो क्राउड पैक कर देगी वो जगह. वो नेपाल क्रिकेट है.
You saw in the last World Cup in USA.
अरे वो छोड़िए, इंडिया इंग्लैंड नेपाल इंग्लैंड सोल्ड आउट हो गया फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड कप मैच. मैंने वो देख लिया. सोचिए.
Yes.
You would have thought an empty stadium would have gone with England playing. And only would have been sold out if India is playing against England. मैंने very recently एक चीज बोली थी, जैसे आपने यूएसए के बारे में कहा था. यूएसए में जब वर्ल्ड कप हुआ, वेस्ट इंडीज में जब वर्ल्ड कप हुआ, दो ही ब्लूज दिखाई दिए, इंडिया ब्लूज एंड नेपाल ब्लूज. बताइए और कौन से क्राउड पहुंचे उधर? नेपाल ब्लूज एंड इंडिया ब्लूज वर लाइक विद सेम कैपेसिटी, बॉस. तो हियर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट अ सीरियस क्रिकेट नेशन हु lives their cricket and they flaunt their cricket. And that will inspire the players to come through. And NPL has become a great competitive platform for a talent pool today. You saw Bashir Ahmed come through. You saw Sher Malla come through. You know, you're seeing some, Bhim Sharki played a magic innings. So my point is, today, the national team will think that, okay, the existing players will think that, okay, we also need to raise our game and evolve, because the competition pool is getting good, all thanks to the quality and pedigree of NPL.
True. So, especially this season, which player has impressed you the most, apart from the top players, let's say DP and everyone, young players, who do you think has impressed you the most?
I like Bashir Ahmed's batting. Really, he's a good left arm spinner. He can be groomed into a very fine Shakib Al Hasan kind of a player, if I look at it, a good all-rounder. Sher Malla is a very gutsy bowler because he's ready to toss the ball with great variations. He's good. And I like this one player, Santosh Yadav from the Kathmandu Gorkhas. Something about him again, a very fine all-rounder in the making. Very gritty, gutsy. Something about him. I really enjoyed. Bhim Sharki, that one innings was enough for me to see that this man possesses something. देखिए स्पिनर्स तो बहुत देखे हमने. मुझे अभिषेक गौतम अच्छा लगा, विपिन खत्री अच्छा लगा, विपिन शर्मा अच्छा लगा, रंजित कुमार अच्छा लगा. लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर्स की तो बात ही मतलब बंद नहीं होती. Leg spinner में Tilak Raj Bhandari did a decent job, but he can certainly work more on his skills. We were talking about it last night only, all the commentators, how more he can, evolve as a bowler. And I like what I saw of Dr. Ishan Pandey. He also looked very promising. Yuvraj Khatri, I'm really cued into Yuvraj Khatri because when I see spinners, I need fearless spinners. Well, I'm ready to sledge even the batter who's hit him for 2 sixes. Yuvraj Khatri is that. Big heart, ready to toss it up, ready to get hit, ready to come back as well. Yuvraj Khatri is someone who really impressed me. Batting में Yeah, I mean, like I told you, Bashir and Bhim Sharkey. Did see Lokesh Baum. I thought Lokesh Baum could have done much more after getting that 70 in the first match. I just felt he's got some batting, this thing with him. Yeah, it's been good. I mean,
Let's talk about Dipendra Singh Aire. What kind of aura do you think he brings to the game?
see, Dipendra Singh Aire is one of the adhesives, glues that is keeping the Nepal cricket fans and the cricket connected together. He has an aura. I call him Aire's aura. I always say that because he's a very likable character. He's a 360, multi-dimensional player. He's a grounded personality. And there's something about him. There's something about Dipendra Singh Aire that makes you want to watch more of him. Not every player gets that aura and come. Aire has that.
Can you see Dipendra Singh Aire play in IPL?
I'd want to believe I can see him. I really want to believe, at least to begin with, more foreign leagues, and then after a splash over there, he's summoned into the trials and camp, and then he gets a chance. But he's certainly one of those players who needs to get a look in at some point in time. Yeah, I'm still waiting to watch that big mad innings like he played a couple of them last year in NPL Season 1. This year it's been a bit more sedate because of the way the teams have played on these surfaces. Fairly understandable. But he certainly deserves a mention and a look in the IPL going forward.
Since IPL auction is also, I think, few days away. So if Dipendra plays in IPL, which team do you think will suit Dipendra's playing style, or Dipendra will suit that team?
We'll keep him yellow to yellow only, na? Why change anything? ऐसे आने दे येलो में सुदूर पश्चिम और सीएसके जुड़ जाएंगे, हो गया फिर सब कुछ.
अब येलो की बात करें तो we have Vinod Bhandari, who has that aura of Dhoni, a wicket keeper, right? So he is one of the players who played the first World Cup, and in the these 2 seasons, Vinod Bhandari has been performing well, and he has been that stable character at the very start, and that I think gives the team the bigger boost because he's there with the opener who is smashing boundaries in sixes. Not so great with the strike rate, but he knows it's not him who has a good strike rate, and he also builds partnership.
I look at Vinod Bhandari as a fire and ice player. He can take up both roles, 250s, 240s in this game, and very tidy behind the stumps. 35 years young, he's not shown any signs of being someone who's a bit scratchy, a bit slow off the blocks. Everything good. Unfortunately, what happens in cricket today is when a team is being created, when they talk about a World Cup squad, they always look at a future squad. So I heard his press conference that they should consider performances. He's done nothing wrong. If NPL is a crucible and NPL is a platform and a yardstick for selection and for coaches and selectors to just gauge player form, current form and consistency, he's certainly knocked the door. There's no doubt about it. Now, what's the vision the selectors has is all up to them, Avash. Whether we want to go with somebody as senior as him or there's already Asif Sheikh in the side, so he's the main guy who's doing the bulk of the wicket keeping, and there are a couple of more wicket keepers in Lokesh Baum and all, youngsters. Arjun Saud also, I liked what I saw of him. But I feel Vinod Dai, like he's been revered and respected as one of the senior most wonderful gentlemen of the game. He's done a great job this season. Great job. And he's in the running for one of the most valuable players as well. And that's a great example for a league where you want to see young talent, senior pro veteran coming in saying, hang on boys, I still have a lot of gas in the tank and you'll take some time to catch up with me.
We were discussing about Paras Khadka.
Yeah.
So what was the initial image that you had of Paras Khadka before meeting him, and what do you think he brings into Nepali cricket?
See, Paras Khadka, the first time I saw him, I didn't meet him. I saw him as a nice, tall, towering personality. Someone who stood out in the crowd. Okay, then when I got to know he's now, at the forefront of handling things, and over a period of time, and I saw the way he's gone about being that person who's made those right moves. But listen, we know him for his passion, right? But today we have to honor him for his perseverance and commitment, Avash. He's a man, I keep saying this, he's a man with vision and supervision. And that is so very important. I spoke about people having the heart and mind at the right place. Paras is one of them. He has the heart and mind in the right place. Even now when NPL is happening, comes to the com box area, he discusses wickets, he discusses the situations. Oh, this player could have played this way. Watch out for him. He's so invested also as a viewer, not just as a secretary of CAN. And that's passion. And what he's also done very nicely is brought that perseverance and commitment. I just feel he's been the wind beneath the wings for Nepal cricket today. He's been daring in his moves. He's been adventurous. He's had great foresight. And what's helping him is a very strong CAN association from Chatur Bahadur Chand, the president, and you have wonderful people like Binod Das and the others around, being the perfect team that they are, and Nepal cricket is performing at the same time. You can't move ahead if your team is not performing, remember that. A country is high on cricket when the wins are coming through. When you have individual players turn into superstars. All of that is happening. That's why I call it one of the best phases and eras of Nepal cricket today, because everything is coming together.
Let's just talk about the commentary. Who's the funniest in the commentary box, including everyone, even Jess, your whole presentation team? So who's the funniest one? And please, first that one.
I guess HD is a great vibe to be with. You know, he comes with his puns. We really enjoyed Carlos Brathwaite. He's a genuine, authentic vibe. He comes and says, "Yo, Matza. Hey, Matza, what's up, Matza?" He says that and it's like full fun. Jess was a bit reserved because we all were meeting for the first time. And by the end of it now, she's also become very friendly and all of it. Andrew, of course, he's a brilliant broadcaster, thorough professional, very analytical, very insightful, very observant. And you've got to be on your toes when you're talking cricket with Andrew, because he knows the nuances and the insights and the analysis very well. I've worked a lot with Fazal in India, so I know him from the past. He's another great character, loves the crowd, loves the mountains, so he keeps talking about all of it. It's a good team, it's a happy team. We all rally around each other. But HD is always fun to be with. You know, sometimes he can get serious, sometimes he can get very funny, sometimes you can just pull a fast one and just slide away. So it's a good bunch of people.
Okay. So towards the end, I have some very rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
Which my team has given me. They want to make deep content out of it.
Right.
So I'll ask you, try and give one word or one sentence answer. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Favorite IPL season you covered?
Wow, I guess the first season, 2008.
Rajasthan Royals.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was your childhood cricketing idol?
Quite a few. Sachin is one I grew up being inspired by. Then Rahul is somebody I really admired. And a player called Marcus Trescothick from England, the left-handed batter. I would just enjoy watching him bat. There was so much of fluidity and organic purity in his shots.
True. Who's your commentary idol?
I don't have a commentary idol.
Okay. If you could interview any cricketer, past or present, who would it be?
Oh, wow. I've interviewed Sachin. I've interviewed Saurav. I've interviewed Rahul. I would love to do Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli. Yeah.
That was my guess.
Yeah. You know, there's a story behind it, because in 2007, when he was a young cricketer, 18 or 17 or 18, he had not even won the Under-19 World Cup. I used to cover, I told you, right? I used to go to Firozshah Kotla. So, I was not getting a chance to speak to Nehra or Amit Bhandari or Akash because they were all practicing. Virat Kohli used to come and practice over there. तो मेरे को लगा यार ये 18 साल का लड़का है, बहुत कुछ सुना है इसके बारे में, बोल रहे फ्यूचर है इंडिया का, एक बार उससे इंटरव्यू करके एक क्लिप बना देते और एक स्टोरी बना देते. तो विराट गया ड्रेसिंग रूम में, तो वो विराट बाहर आ रहा था ड्रेसिंग रूम में, तो मैं अपने कैमरा पर्सन के साथ खड़ा था, तो मैंने कहा विराट आई नीड टू टॉक टू यू. तो विराट ने कहा व्हाट? तो मैंने कहा आई वांट टू इंटरव्यू यू फॉर 2 minutes, कैन आई हैव अ चैट विद यू? तो विराट ऐसे देखता है, नो. मैंने बोला अरे बाप रे, नहीं मिला. तो I would love to do it because he's a great, I've really admired him.
Wonderful. So, most important piece of equipment in a commentary box besides your mic?
I guess the wet wipes, because you need to wipe the mics. And today, आज के day में अगर wet wipes नहीं है तो यार wet wipes लेके आ जाओ, यार wet wipes लेके आ जाओ. But of course your earpiece as well. But wet wipes तो हम लोग भाई सब लोग.
I thought you were going to say your laptop.
हाँ, मेरा iPad होता है. हाँ, वो चलो वो भी अगर नहीं हो, लेकिन wet wipes चाहिए भाई आज की तारीख में.
Small incident. So, I think this was when I was starting commentary. A lot of local commentators, they used to eat those pan jarda and everything.
Yeah.
So when I saw the mic, it was all colored. And that time I started carrying wet wipes.
Yeah. ये COVID के time से it became a.
Yes, also.
तो इसलिए COVID, and then Some people carry a flu, cough, but they have to work as well. So you just do that extra bit of thing.
Okay. One word to describe the pressure of live broadcasting.
Exhilarating.
The best piece of advice you give your students at Cricket Academy.
Yeah, quite a few. I keep telling them, hang in there, things change.
What is your personal mantra or motto for life?
Peace and happiness.
So the last one, please look at this camera and one message to your fans from Nepal.
Oh my God, this makes me very emotional. I would fold my hands and say, thank you for the love, acceptance, and all the good wishes and good words you sent across all through season 1 and season 2. Very overwhelming. I get very emotional in thanking each one of y'all because it's been unprecedented love that I've got from each one of y'all. And I only hope your love for Nepal cricket stays strong and Nepal cricket continues to grow. With all my heart and with a lot of gratitude, I'm being grateful in this message of mine. Thank you very much.
Some words in Nepali.
Oh my God. So my first toss that I did in NPL season 1, Namaste Nepal, Tapai Kasto Huna Huncha. And that has stayed with many Nepali fans. And then I also welcomed Akash Chopra recently.
Yes.
So I had to buy hard a lot. So it said, Nepal ra Nepali Fyan Haruko Tarfabata Yo Sundar Desh Nepal Ma Swagat cha. I learned a couple of more words. I told in last year's final, if I get to do the toss in this year's final again, I'll say the same. I said, Namaste Nepal, final ko josh kasto cha, tayar huna huncha.
Now, one last question. This is not a rapid fire, but it relates to the coming World Cup because Nepal will play all its game in Wangkhare. So last time when I was in Wangkhare, I was in the bus doing the tour in college. So I had to look all the way up straight to look at the roof itself. It's such a big stadium.
It is, yes.
So how would...
And that's sold out.
Yes.
Well done, Nepal.
Even we're coming. We're going there for content and everything.
Yeah, you must. It's going to be magical. Yeah.
So how do you think Nepal would adapt to that, to those wicket, to those conditions?
I was in fact just having a chat with Irie last night. I happened to meet him. And I said, y'all are in the best phase, in the best situation. Y'all have nothing to lose. Y'all have everything to gain. Y'all can be fearless. Y'all can express yourself. It's England who have to really adapt and think too much right now. He's like, yeah, we are just looking forward to play our natural, fearless brand of cricket. And like, that's how it should be. I feel it's good in one place, all the matches. If fans, logistically, the players, conditions, the red soil, the pitches, you get a good measure of it. Sometimes one pitch, second pitch, third pitch. By the time you understand and reassess, I just feel with all the conditions and situation in one place, Nepal stands to gain. And save this clip. Nepal is winning a match for sure in this World Cup.
Considering all the matches.
I look at them winning all, but that one match is on. This time it's going to be a watershed moment for Nepal cricket in the World Cup. Believe you me. Yeah, because this team has that knack of surprising oppositions. They nearly did it against South Africa last time. It was very tragic and unfortunate, an element of misfortune. But, ladies and gentlemen, game on.
Well, we come to the end of the podcast. That was an amazing session for me because I get nervous at times, especially when I'm sitting with commentators. So, and it was one of my very big check now that I've done a podcast with you because, to be honest, I told you new cricket was my thing. My sister and me, when we used to fight for remote, it would be new sports.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I've grown up watching you present, and some part of your presentation I tried to imitate in myself. I don't think you know this, but the way you speak, the smoothness in your voice and the softness in your tone is something I really, really admire of. And thank you so much for coming here, and thank you so much for coming to Nepal and gracing your knowledge here itself. And not just for me, but also whatever you spoke today, I think it goes out to all the players, right? And all aspiring commentators too. So thank you so much, Mikhail, because I know you were busy last time. You were sick too, but you agreed for this time.
No. I'll just put things across as well from my side. Firstly, it's a privilege and honor. I really like the way you've been relentless in having this done, and as much as it's a privilege for you, I echo the same sentiments. Thank you for having me. You're one of the best broadcasters, I believe, in the country. You've done 140 plus podcasts. You carry a great deal of reputation, so it really enhances my presence as well in Nepal. So thank you very much on that front. With me, it's always been unfiltered, Avash. I really can't put a filter and talk. What's in my heart is in my mouth. And all I can say that Avash Gimere, the colors of the game, this wonderful studio, is doing a very fine job of getting sport persons, the technicalities, and all of it very close to the fans. And this is what you want today when a nation is growing in its sporting culture, and you are making a huge impact over here, Avash. Congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you so much. I'll take it for my team, and a big shout out and thank you to Mohit sir, who connected me to Mikhail. So I wanted to surprise him today after with a photo, but he gave me the phone to talk. So that was it. So thank you so much. Tomorrow is the final. So we could have done it after the final, but your flight timing, I didn't want to risk anything.
I understand. Yeah, it's
Nolan players, I wanted to sit with you because I've already sat with Andrew.
Okay.
Right. So last time it was Darren Buff who I wanted to sit with, and I loved his bowling action, smooth as it was. So thank you, Mikhail. Thank you so much. Hope to see you every year in Nepal, not just for the NPL, for more tournaments. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Avash. Thank you to our audience as well. And thank you, Nepal, for everything.
All right. Okay, Anurag sir, add a photo. Cut garçon. Now let's take a photo. Yeah, but done.
I hope it